Well, I've seen it in real tangible ways. First of all, the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, the Hispanic Americans who represent their districts in the United States House of Representatives, has grown significantly from when I came, and certainly in the last decade. We went to a high watermark in our nation's history where there were 3 United States senators of Hispanic descent. For 30, 40 years there had not been any, and then we went to 3. One of them ended up becoming the Secretary of the Interior, Ken Salazar. One of my former colleagues in the House became the Secretary of Labor. Those are non-traditional roles in which Latinos are now playing significant roles for our entire country. And certainly, the nomination by President Obama of Judge Sotomayor is a landmark, historic breakthrough. She will be the first Hispanic on the United States Supreme Court, eminently qualified. So all of this is coming together at a very critical moment, and beyond that, you even see a greater series of sub-cabinet members and people being appointed in the Foreign Service in our country from our community. So as the Hispanic community continues to deepen its American roots here in this country, in some cases, clearly there have been people here whose families go back generations as Americans, and then others who are recent arrivals. But their political ability in terms of making a difference in our country has grown dramatically. Well, there's always room for growth. We're never satisfied until we are fully participating in America's promise. And we work hard at that every day as a community to contribute to America as we also seek to fulfill its promise. And so I think that the new census will give us an opportunity to see districts that will hopefully be more reflective of the community. That means more members of the House of Representatives. It means more state house legislators. It probably means more city council members and mayors. I think that in terms of economic growth, this is a community that's going to continue to be key for America in the future for 2 major reasons. Number one, it's a natural ambassador for our goods and services to Latin America and the Caribbean, and can make those trade links for American goods and services. And secondly, it's also going to be younger. Already, the last census has us younger by a decade, might be even more. That means as the nation grows, the quality of life for more Americans is going to depend upon the healthcare worker, the doctor, who's going to come from this community. It's also going to mean that the nation's competitive future, about 25% to 30% of all of the nation's public school children will be Latino. That means as the nation moves forward, its competitive ability to compete in the world is going to depend on how well educated these children are. So in all those respects, there is certainly room for growth as well as for contributing to America's future. Well, I think, we need a census that ultimately reaches out to communities through community-based organizations, the entities that those communities know and trust, through public officials and people in public life who that community understands and has an appreciation for and has trust in as their advocates, whether it be here in Congress or in a state house or at the local level. We need to use every medium that is available to us. So, for example, Spanish language television, radio. In the case of that community, there's also very significant Asian and other communities. So we have a very diverse nation now. And so understanding how we use those mediums to reach out to these communities are very important. And then having good enumerators, individuals who, when you don't send in your form, knock on your door and can communicate and have the trust of people in neighborhoods. So getting community people engaged in a way that maximizes the opportunity to make sure that we count everybody in this country. I think we've seen probably a greater participation of Latinos throughout the administration, and those are natural advocates as well as ambassadors into the community, and that will serve both the nation well as it will serve the community well, and ultimately I think pay political dividends. with reference to, I think a continuous dialogue with the community is going to be important through all the mediums that exist. And some of the critical issues, and these issues are within an American agenda. For example, we have 47 million Americans who have no health care coverage, but the single largest group within those 47 million are Hispanic Americans. We all want a quality education for our children, but the single largest group that drop out of our high schools are Latinos. We want to see our economy turn around and create economic opportunity for our families. But while the unemployment rate is high for all Americans, it's higher by multiple digits for Hispanic Americans. So having an understanding of that, even in the midst of our nation's challenges, there is uniqueness as it relates to the challenges that this community faces within that American agenda, I think will be very important for the administration and for Congress.